Well, looking at the weather here, I'm not getting forecasts that agree for the wind anyway. The HRRR is saying at 3-4 o'clock when we're about to arrive, we'll only have 6 knots of wind. That would be great. The European model is showing something similar, but the GFS, which is the United States model, is actually showing strong winds coming from the north, which would be right on our bow, 16 knots of wind. I'm hoping that the American model is wrong and that either the HRRR or the European model are accurate. But the sun is up enough for us to be able to get a good view of us getting out of here. So at this point, the sooner I leave, the better, in case the American model turns out to be accurate.
Time to go. Next year, we'll be back to feed the pigs and go to the grotto.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely want to do that.
If that's the opening up ahead we're supposed to go through, it looks really narrow. Hopefully the closer we get to it, the wider it looks.
It's deep. It's very deep. The current is looking strong. Yeah, you can tell it's shallow. Wow, look how pretty this is.
Solo sailor, so I had Adele on standby just in case things got hairy, but
all I did,
she did adjust the throttle for me.
That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, and the
course.
The course.
Yeah. She turned the boat and adjusted the throttle.
All right, are you done with me?
Yes, for now, until it's time for breakfast, but
I know.
I don't get breakfast anymore, so
I do know that.
I'm gonna wait for lunch.
I'm gonna make you a small breakfast.
I can skip it.
When I'm ready.
If you skip it, I'll skip it.
Oh, I am skipping it.
All right, well, I'll see you at lunch.
No, I'm gonna make you something. You're burning some calories.
All right. Well, we're a couple hours into our little trip. The spinnaker wasn't cooperating because the winds had died off and switched over a little bit to our beam. So seeing that the winds were coming at that 90-degree angle, I decided to just go ahead and put out the jib, and that seems to be helping pull us along a little bit. We're going 7 knots, so we're making good time. It says we'll be there before 3 o'clock if everything stays as it is, and the sun's come out, so it's a nice day. We've done everything today. We ran the spinnaker. I had the sails up. At one point I had the engines off. Then I put just the jib out with one engine. Now I'm running both engines and I have the mainsail up, which isn't really doing much because the wind is almost right in our face. It's just been one of those days where the wind keeps changing and I'm adapting. Or maybe I'm just bored and I like to play with the sails. Could be both. But one thing that hasn't changed today is the sea state. The waves are just as calm as they were when we first came out, and that is nice. I can deal with the not catching fish and the winds picking up and dying off, but I'm glad this is the kind of crossing over to Eleuthera that I'm getting. Well, an update on the weather forecast. I mentioned this morning that There was 3 forecast models I checked, but right now the GFS is the one that seems to be the most accurate. As I'll turn this direction, and you can probably hear I'll have to speak up because the wind is increasing in our face as they predicted. But it looks like we're across the majority of the Atlantic for this trip, and we should be in that crystal clear blue water soon again. Well, the winds have continued to pick up. Now we're facing to some of the bigger waves, so it's getting a little sporty out here. We just crossed into the shallow water. We were in 3,000 or more feet. Now we're down to 26 feet. But with the winds up around 20 knots now, it's gotten really bouncy. We are on our final approach into Eleuthera. We still have pretty strong winds, 18 knots, but they're mostly in my face, so I'm still motoring and sailing right now. And if I didn't mention it, our buddy boat, one more thing from our earlier videos, is at this anchorage. So we're going to be catching up with them this evening. We're going to go grab a bite to eat. We haven't seen them in about 4 weeks, so it'll be good to meet up with friends. So looking forward to that. Welcome to Eleuthera. It was a nice sail today. Sail, motor. The ocean was pretty calm until the last hour. And now that we're in the anchorage in Eleuthera, I recognize several boats from Georgetown. And we're going to go ahead and get on the dinghy and explore all that Eleuthera has to offer. And because Adele has to fly out in the next 10 days, we're going to end up staying here for a little bit as well. So I was so glad that Steve and Kathy were staying in Eleuthera the same time I was. With Adele flying home to go to a funeral, it was going to be nice to have some friendly faces around. Well, I just went up to get the trash out of the front of the boat to put on the dinghy to take to the dock. We store it in the front compartment. And when we got up there, I opened up the hatch and the trash bag was full of maggots. And unfortunately, I store a lot of stuff in there. Basically maggots all over everything. So I just emptied this compartment out. We've been spraying it with bleach. I'm about to go down there and scrub the walls. Sounds like fun. And then I'm gonna take this shop vac and suck all the water out of there. Anyway, I'm about to dive down in here and go scrub out some maggots.
Found some pot cakes. I'm gonna go get some food so I can eat them.
Pot cakes, abandoned dogs, basically.
I'm actually making dog food because we just saw those 3 dogs. Their bones were sticking out. And I took this out for us to make dinner tonight, so I needed to cook it. And then we just heard that we were going to go to the fish fry, but that's tonight. So I was like, perfect, I'll make the ground turkey for the dogs.
So let's see what we got here. Looks like Adele, there's 3 dogs,
3 dogs.
And Adele has made 3 individual dog bowls. All right, well, we're gonna go back to shore now that she's got the meals ready and see if the dogs are still where they were.
Oh, if they're not, I'm gonna be so sad.
There
you go, baby.
Both of these are eating good tonight. I've been getting engine overheat alarms on this. It seems to run fine when you're under throttle. It's got plenty of water coming out the side. But as soon as you let off the throttle, the engine overheat alarm beeps. It's obviously not happy. It does it most commonly when it's under a lot of load, whenever I have 4 people on the boat. So it's sad because this motor's less than a year old. We just bought a new motor so we wouldn't have these kinds of problems. And here we are dealing with these kinds of problems. So I just took the dinghy back over to this little spot to see if you can access the airport from here. Another cruiser told me they came over here yesterday, so I think this is the spot he was talking about. So I'm going to walk up here to the road and check it out. Right at the end of the street there is the Rock Sound International Airport, so you can definitely easily get there. Dell's getting ready to fly back to Maryland. I'm gonna miss her. She's gonna be gone for 7 days. Yeah, I actually only got her a one-way ticket, so...
There's your sign.
Right. She's concerned that I might not want to bring her back on the boat and really want to try this solo sailing. You know, honestly, we're in Rock Sound, Eleuthera right now. There's an airport that we're going to be able to get to by dinghy. But I'm going to leave here tomorrow and start heading north. So I'm going to try to get her another ticket to fly back to a different airport. And that'll most likely be an airport near Spanish Wells. All right, you got your backpack.
Well done.
All right, just pulled up to this little rocky shore. Let me hand you.
Should I get the book bag?
Look at that, and then I'll put the book bag on.
When does my plane leave? I'm nervous.
You weren't nervous when you were putting that lipstick on. Yep, there's the airport building right there.
Yeah, I mean, it's right there.
Yep.
Yeah, very convenient.
Rock Sound International Airport.
That's all right. Mean.
7 or more days. It's gonna feel weird. Gonna miss her. About to find out a little bit about what this solo sailing is really about. Well, Adele's plane is about to take off. That means I'm truly solo on the boat. But before we do any solo sailing, it's time to do some solo cooking. It's been amazing how little fuel we've used. 7 weeks ago, when we were at Emerald Bay Marina, I topped off my tank and it was a little over $100. There's only one tank on this boat and I believe it's 56 gallons. It's not very big. We've been sailing enough that I haven't really been using much. But the moral of the story is I've spent less than $200 in fuel in the last, well, we'll say almost 2 months. Compare that to my F-250 back at home where I was putting $120 a week in it. This isn't too bad. It's nice to have the sails. Good morning from Rock Sound, Eleuthera. We are in the Rock Sound anchorage, a well-protected anchorage for the blow that's been anticipated. And there's a lot to do here. There's a public dock where you can tie your dinghy up easily. We've got 2 grocery stores. Already eaten at 2 of the little restaurants, or 3, and the food has been good at all of them. So definitely a spot to stop by if you're passing through. So this is the public dock, and if you're cruising through Eleuthera, right at the end of the dock they have free trash, so you can get rid of any trash bags off your boat. There's a gas station. It does not have diesel, but it does have gasoline for your dinghy, which is walking distance away right here, and a few restaurants right up and down this main strip, so you don't have to go far. Today we're going to walk across to the other side of the island to check out a famous cave and also go to the beach. So we've arrived at Cathedral Cave's Boiling Hole Trail. If you find yourself visiting Rock Sound, Eleuthera, you have got to go to these caves. But right now, I'm just going to share with you the highlights. This was really a must-see. I was so disappointed that Adele wasn't with me when I got to explore these caves, but we will definitely be back. On our way over to the ocean, we stopped at this famous blue hole. Apparently, nobody knows how deep it actually is.
We went as far as 600 feet and turned back, but somehow it is the underground because it have caves and stuff. But this is connected to the ocean underground, and it's brackish water. It's mixed with fresh and salt water.
And this goes all the way across somehow over to the ocean, or
underground.
Underground.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Yeah, it's incredible. It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you for all that information.
Absolutely.
Did not see that coming.
Out that way. All right, let's see how we do. It was over a 30-minute walk, but definitely worth it to get to this beautiful ocean. The locals in Eleuthera, like many of the small islands we visited, were very friendly and excited to share their culture and history with us.
I'm looking to see 47 now. So what I'm saying to you, the fish and the lobsters and the conch, I have drugged from out here from a child to my age now. You wouldn't believe it.
Well, this is a pretty cool little spot. Somebody's got 2 chairs, built this concrete pad here, and they've got their yoga mat set up over here. Pretty sweet. And look at the view they have. Think about having a spot like this where you can come out there away from all the social media, away from all the work. You really just cleanse your mind, stare out into the ocean, and reflect on what's really important in life. Well, that was my stay in Rock Sound. We were here for about 4 days total. Had a lot of fun today, checking out the beach, talking with the locals, and checking out those caves. Those caves were so impressive. Some of the best I've ever seen. I think I'll add this to the list of places I want to stop next season. Tomorrow morning, I'll be solo sailing without Adele for the first time. So just me, and I've prepped the boat to get everything ready. The wind should be good for sailing. They're calling for 13 knots of wind, which on the beam, which is perfect for upwind sailing. And we should be there in about 4.5 hours. I say we because my buddy boat, One More Thing, which you can see right behind me here in the sunset, is going to be leading the way. So although I'm solo sailing on my boat, I won't be alone totally out there in the waters if I get into some kind of trouble. But I don't suspect I will. I've been handling this boat by myself for a while, and usually anchoring and unanchoring is the hardest thing. But I got some tricks. I'm going to use my camera and my iPad at the helm so I can see what the chain and anchor's doing, and should be a smooth day. All right, we're not just sailing, we're solo sailing. Okay, I'm pretty happy. We just got this, well, I just got this thing trimmed up nicely, and we're doing 7.2 knots, and I've got one reef in the sail, so I don't even have a full mainsail, and 7 knots is cruising right along in a cruising catamaran like this that's loaded down with basically your whole house in here. So I'm quite happy with the way the sail setup is right now, and hopefully the wind keeps up this pace and we will be flying the whole way there. Beautiful day on the water. This is what sailing is all about. I went ahead and put my life jacket on. When the boat's moving 6-7 knots and you're by yourself, last thing you do is fall in the water and watch your boat sail away without you. Well, Steve and Kathy just lost their starboard engine. Sounds like it's not cooling, so it's most likely an impeller problem, or they've got a clog in their sea strainer. But I'm only moving 4.5 knots right now. They're going a little slower, but I'm gonna kind of wait up for them, but there's not a lot I can do, and they have 2 engines, so they should be able to make it to where we're going on just one. It's a little bumpy out here, mainly because we're going head into the waves. The waves aren't really that big, but sometimes they stack up and it slows the boat down a good bit. Once again, I would say not exactly as predicted. The wind angle is a little bit more to the west, just putting it more on our nose, and the wind speed's a little higher than 13 knots. But it's a short trip to Governor's Harbor, so I can pretty much withstand this for a couple of hours. Woo, getting flat. Alright, I just got confirmation that it's the impeller. They're going to run on one engine, and I'm a little bit ahead of them, so I'm going to try to go back to sailing and cut my engines off. I'll have to go a little bit out of the way to continue sailing, but then I should be able to tack and sail back over to Governor's Harbor. Well, conditions have not gotten any better. If anything, they've probably gotten worse. Unfortunately, the direction we really need to go is directly into the wind. And that's also making it so that the waves are bouncing us the most. I tried tacking a little bit earlier, but to get a good wind angle, I was almost going back from where I came from. So I'm just gonna keep one engine running, and I've got a little bit of sail out right now, and we'll just keep bouncing along. Got a nice little wave here coming up. Let's see what the boat does. There we go. Yep, there's water over the bow. Oh yeah. That's what I'm talking about. It's not gotten better. Just about everything inside is falling down. Normally that's what Adele would be doing when I'm not exactly solo sailing, but you can see the books had fallen over. I had a vase hit the floor earlier. Luckily it didn't break. The knives all fell over, but I put those back. Pictures have fallen off the counter. So Adele normally, if we know we're gonna have a rough passage, will take all this stuff and put it down so that we don't have to deal with it. But it wasn't supposed to be a rough passage today. It was supposed to be 13 knots of wind, and geez, you know, that's what predictions are all about. Goodness. Well, the saga continues, but not for me, for my buddy boat. They were already down one engine, and now they just called me and told me that they snagged a crab pot with their other engine. So now they've got that wrapped up in their propeller. So at this point, they have no engines, and they're trying to figure out what to do about it. All right, good news. It looks like my friends have gotten the crab pot off. They have folding propellers on their boat. They're designed so that when you're sailing, they fold up and allow the boat to go faster. And they said once they shut the engine off and they still had their sail up, when that prop folded, it released the crab pot. So they got pretty lucky, didn't have to go swimming, and we're underway again. So for such a short sail, wow, they've been dealing with a lot of stuff. We're about an hour away from our destination. We have not been making good time today. The wind and waves are just so much worse than what was predicted. I've been dealing with 20 to 25 knots for the last 2 hours. And that's just normally a day that I wouldn't even go sailing. I would have just stayed on anchor and waited for another day. There's no need to put the boat through these types of conditions, and no need to put the stress on the sails themselves. But we're out here now, so we're sailing. Okay, I'm arriving into the cut right now, and that means go ahead and drop the sails and get anchored up. All right, I just turned the autopilot. 30 degrees to the right. I'll wait for the boat to come around, and we are going to drop this sail. There we go. Coming down. Just about everything here in our kitchen fell over. Oh, these plates are trying to fall out of here. And put our pictures back. That doesn't go there, that goes there. Oh my goodness. This placemat that's down here on the floor, well, this was up here on the table. And what do we got here? This book. It was somewhere on this counter. Wow. All right, I'm gonna get this place cleaned up and sorted out. And I think I'll head into town and get something good to eat. Join me next week as I do 2 more passages solo, and then finally Adele rejoins me on the boat.